Hey Beth, it's Angeline. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank you again for doing your homework. And yes, I'm going to give you an A+ because all of your images that you assembled on Pinterest clearly communicate the vision for the exterior of your home. You provided great examples for the overall atmosphere you want of the brick and how that communicates with the other moving parts like windows and gutters. And I really appreciated your Pinterest board dedicated to the front doors because it shows me that you gravitate towards a handsome stained front door. And with that information, and of course based on our brief conversation, I assembled some options for your consideration. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to start with the brick. You've pre-selected this, and may I say, fabulous brick. And I love all the different shade variation and the flashing on here. It's really kind of a gorgeous taupey beige color over a nice chocolatey brown. It's kind of delicious, like creme brulee color palette. I have here to the side a mock-up wall. This image was provided by Michelle. And I think we said that the mortar that's represented here perhaps is a form of a gray, and we wanted to go a little bit lighter. So I have a mortar sample for us here in the soft white, which in essence would provide you a little bit more of a contrast in between the brick and overall make the brick just feel a little bit lighter. So this is the whole foundation. To cap off this beautiful brick, we had a discussion that maybe black is too severe and some of the browns, well, they're too Hershey Kiss milk chocolatey. So I agree with you, and I pre-selected Williamsburg Gray. It's a nice cap in the fact that it's going to give you some contrast without being too strong. It's not going to take the attention away from the brick or the beautiful architecture of our plan. And in my opinion, a gray is just a nice neutral for us to pair other colors with. Now, for your boxing, or what we would call soffit and fascia, I pre-selected this color from Sherwin-Williams, which is accessible beige. I really like it with the mortar color, and my goal is to have it pull out from the brown brick all of this light color flashing. So the goal is it would be a nice transition, and it would continue to make the brick feel just a little bit lighter. And when I talk about the trim, that accessible beige would be on the gable peaks here and all around the roof line. That's where we would see that color. This is also, by the way, very similar to what we're seeing in the majority of your inspiration photos. They chose a light color for that boxing versus something in the bronze. However, I do love bronze. And so with your brick, I've pre-selected a bronze color window that would add some contrast against our brick. I've also pre-selected the dark bronze for the metal roof. And you would see that predominantly on the back of the house. That's where we would see that metal roof come into play. And Beth, as we get to know each other, you're going to hear me talk about continuity because I love it in design. Sometimes it's a repetition of a color or a shape. Now, in this instance, we're going to want to keep some continuity with the colors. So if we utilize the bronze on the window and the gutter, I'm going to be looking for a similar finish for lighting and front door hardware. So this finish represents an option for a oil rub bronze hardware on that entry door coming in the home. And I'll give you some examples of some styles a little later. For the front door color, this is espresso from Bin Wax. So it's very rich and handsome. It's a dark brown with a little bit of a whisper of a coffee bean. Well, I guess thus its name, espresso. I adore this with the brick. It just pulls some of the brown that we know is not as predominant once it's mortared. So we can see from the inspiration photo, overall it's lighter, and some of the chocolatey brown is just dancing around, say, the corners of the brick. So I love how this pairs together. Continuity once again. On the back of our home, we've got these fabulous cedar columns here. There's 4 of them. I'm proposing this stain. It's called Spicewood. So it's a strong dark brown. It's not a semi-transparent color, meaning we're not going to see any graining of the cedar. The idea is we want a nice darker color to kind of blend in with the windows and the doors and the sliding doors at the back of the house. And we want them to give the illusion that they are substantial and they're supporting the weight of the roof line. So I like the idea of the columns being a little heavier and visually sturdy versus something that would be a little bit lighter. Speaking of the back porch, your ceilings on the back, and for that matter on the front, are tongue and groove. I pre-selected this stain called Chestnut. This is a semi-transparent stain, meaning you're going to see the natural shade variation and movement of the graining in the wood. So it's very charming and cozy and comfortable. This is a lighter color and it's very earthy. For the Trex flooring, I pre-selected Treehouse. I really like the color harmony between this flooring and the brick. Also, this is more of a golden brown, which will sit underneath the chestnut ceiling really pretty. And the dark columns also provide a nice contrast to the floor. I'm not trying to match it, I'm trying to contrast it. And by the way, we're not quite there yet, but when it's time to talk about the interior hardwood flooring, most likely we're going to gravitate towards something warm brown and just neutral. So typically it's a very nice transition from the interior to the exterior of this tree house. I'm going to transition now into the garage doors. I'm going to provide you with 2 different options, and I'll also provide you with some visuals. The first color is a standard included option, which is just a solid brown color, like a brown bronze. So the idea is it ties into our window color and our metal roof color, although you'll never see them side by side. But again, continuity. I like to know that I have a nice flow. The other option I'm providing you with is a walnut that mimics real wood. So what you're going to see on the sample is it has slight graining and a little bit of shade variation to it. This is in the wheelhouse of the front door to, again, keep your continuity. Now this one may be a little bit of an upgrade, in which we would be glad to provide you with pricing. But just to recap, this is your exterior presentation. Brick, taupe, and light, yet warm and yummy with all of these browns and the creme brulee colors. Soffit, the goal there is to kind of provide a nice transition, and I'm trying to pick up the lighter flashing on the brick and the mortar color. We've got some interest and contrast in the bronze window, bronze metal roof, and bronze hardware. Our front door is engaging and handsome and warm and calling us in, dressed in that dark espresso stain. Contrast on garage doors, whether it's a solid brown or a wood grain in the brown. And then on the back of the house, just a nice classic wood-looking decking with our strong dark brown columns to give us support, and then just a warm and cozy plank tongue and groove ceiling. So, looking forward to your feedback on this, and look for an additional video.